Good morning. The City of Boston Zoning Board of Appeal hearing for July 28, 2026 is now in session. This hearing is being conducted in accordance with the applicable provisions of the open meeting law, including the updated provisions enacted by the legislature this year. The new law allows the board to continue its practice of holding virtual hearings through June 2027. This hearing of the board is being held remotely via the Zoom webinar event platform and is also being live streamed. In order to ensure this hearing of the board is open to the public, members of the public may access this hearing through telephone and video conferencing. The information for connecting to this hearing is listed on today's hearing agenda, which is posted on the public notices page of the city's website, boston.gov. Members of the public will enter the virtual hearing as attendees, which means you will not see yourself on the screen and you will be muted throughout unless administratively unmuted when asked to comment. Board members, applicants, and their attorneys or representatives will participate in the hearing as panelists, and they will appear alongside the presentation materials when speaking. Panelists are strongly encouraged to keep video on while presenting to the board. As with our in-person meetings, comments in support will be followed by comments in opposition. The order of comments is as follows: elected officials, representatives of elected officials, and members of the public. The chair may limit the number of people called upon to offer comment and the time for commenting as time constraints require. For that reason, the board prefers to hear from members of the public who are most impacted by a project, that is, those individuals who live closest to the project. If you wish to comment on an appeal, please click the raise hand button along the bottom of your screen in the Zoom webinar platform. Click it again and your hand should go down. When the host sees your hand, you will receive a request to unmute yourself. Select yes, and you should be able to talk. If you are connected to the hearing by telephone, please press *9 to raise and lower your hand. You must press *6 to unmute yourself after you receive the request from the host. Those called upon to comment will be asked to state their name and address first, and then can provide their comment. In the interest of time and to ensure that you have enough time to do so, please raise your hand as soon as Mr. Stembridge reads the address into the record. Do not raise your hand before the relevant address is called, or the meeting host will not know to call on you at the appropriate time. We ask that you keep your comments brief, and all public testimony will be limited to 90 seconds per speaker. All right, Mr. Stembridge.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Present.
Good morning. Mr. Valencia.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Present.
Good morning. Ms. Turner.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Present.
Good morning. Ms. Betabraza.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Present.
Good morning. Ms. Pinato.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Present.
Good morning. Mr. Collins.
Morning, Madam Chair. Present.
Good morning. Floor is yours, Mr. Stembridge.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll begin today's meeting with the approval of hearing minutes scheduled for 9:30 a.m. These are the minutes from July 14th of this year. I'll make a motion of approval of these minutes.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stembridge.
Yeah.
Mr. Valencia.
Yes.
Ms. Turner.
Yes.
Ms. Betabraza.
Yes.
Ms. Pinato.
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Next, we have the extension scheduled for 9:30 a.m. There are 7 cases this morning. They all appear reasonable. I'll read them in one behind the other. We can see if there are any questions and then go from there. We'll begin with case BOA 1494349 with the address of 2 Dexter Row. Next, we have case BOA 948352 with the address of 11 Heron Street. Next, we have case BOA 948354 with the address of 26 Heron Street. Next, we have case BOA 1332592 with the address of 19 Woodville Street. Next, we have case BOA 1632235 with the address of 250 Seafood Street. Next, we have case BOA 1593053 with the address of 156 Wellington Street. And finally, for the extensions, we have case BOA 1593050 with the address of 88 Geneva Avenue. So, Madam Chair, those are the extensions before us today.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have a motion to grant the extensions as requested?
Motion to grant the extensions as requested.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Mr. Valencia,
Yes.
Ms. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Better Baraza,
Yes.
Ms. Panado,
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Next, we'll move on to the recommendations from the recent subcommittee meeting. All of these were approved, two with EPB design review. I'll read through them, and if there are any questions when I finish, we'll take those up. Begin with case BOA 1850866 with the address of 85 Everett Street, which was approved. Next, we have case BOA 1819861 with the address of 203 Falcon Street, which was approved with the Planning Department design review. Next, we have case BOA 1839249 with the address of 59H to 59 Washington Street, which was approved. Next, we have two companion cases, case BOA 1860034 with the address of 478 to 484 West Broadway, along with case BOA 1860029 which also has the address of 478 to 484 West Broadway. Both were approved with Planning Department design review. Next, we have case BOA 1857382 with the address of 394 Geneva Avenue, which was approved. Next, we have case BOA 1715115 with the address of 655 William T. Morrissey Boulevard, which was approved. Next, we have case BOA 1855992 with the address of 163 Beach Street, which was approved. And finally, we have case BOA 1851194 with the address of 16 High Rock Way, which was approved. Madam Chair, those are all the recommendations in the subcommittee.
Thank you. Any questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve subcommittee recommendations?
May I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yeah.
Mr. Valencia,
Yes.
Ms. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Better Baraza,
Yes.
Ms. Panado,
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Next, we'll move on to building code case scheduled for 9:30 a.m. This is case BOA 1857868 with the address of 46 Mystic Street. If the applicant and/or their representative are present, will they please explain to the board?
Thank you, Mr. Stenbridge. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the record, Richard Lins, the business address at 245 Summer Street, on behalf of the petitioners. With me today are my clients, Jameson Vasquez and Stephanie Crisoli. They are the owners of Unit 1 of the 46 Mystic Street condominium. Mr. Ambassador, we can jump down to page 7. That's probably a good reference point to start. And I'll let the board know, just by way of brief background, my client purchased this property as a condominium unit in 2023. They were the second owner of this unit in the condominium that was established for the 46 Mystic Street property. The other unit owners also either the second or third owners of their units. None of these owners are the first unit owners of this condominium, nor were they involved in the development of this property. As we can see here from the photo, the building at 46 Mystic is one of a series of row houses along Mystic Street. This building was constructed sometime probably back in the late 1800s, certainly before 1900. The legal occupancy of this building as a 3-unit dwelling was confirmed by ISD in the 1990s, and this property was converted into 3 condominium units over 20 years ago, back in 2003. If we could jump down a page, let's go to page 4. So what I'm showing the board here, Madam Chair, is the original master deed plan that was registered with the Suffolk Registry of Deeds in 2003. As we can see, Unit 1 actually occupies both the basement level and the main first level. So this is a bi-level unit. Within Unit 1, as we can see, there's a portion located in the basement off to the right side that encompasses the utility room. The utility room was a condition that was included back when the property was converted in 2003. Again, a condition that's existed for more than 23 years. One of the practical difficulties that we do see, and I'm sure as this board has seen many times before, is that buildings of this age generally have very limited access to utilities. And in this particular case, that would be not the exception for this building as well. We could jump down to page, I believe page 8 might show or illustrate some of the practical issues that we're dealing with here. So we go to page 8. So what we're showing here, Madam Chair, is the rear of the building. As you can see, this again is a row house condition. There are crossover balconies for units 2 and 3. Neither of those units have direct access to the rear of the building. The rear of the building is accessible through Unit 1 only. And again, these are conditions that existed long before our clients purchased it, and certainly were conditions that existed when the conversion occurred in 2003. Because there is limited access from Units 2 and 3 to the rear of the property, there really is no other way to access the utility room except through Unit 1. And certainly understanding that the building code requires independent access, this again being a condition that has existed for more than 23 years, is something that is creating somewhat of a hardship at this point. Back in 2025, although this is something that I believe the city had dealt with more than a decade ago, our clients were provided a notice of violation for the condition with the utility room located where it's at. That is a condition, again, that they did not create, not something that they were aware of, and certainly when they purchased the property, not a condition that was a surprise to them, certainly because the condominium documents for this building, since it was created, actually accounts for access to that utility room. All unit owners in the building have access to the utility room. They just have to pass through Unit 1, and all unit owners do have the ability to access it through the trustees, which do have a key to that unit. This has not created an issue at all for any of the unit owners. I believe there is a letter that's been provided to the board that specifically outlines this condition. It's something that all of the unit owners have no objection to, and certainly have not experienced any issues in accessing it. If you look on the right side, you can see the lower portion of the first unit, and as you can see, there is very limited area to access either a door or some sort of bulkhead into that lower basement area. And so therefore, based upon a strict reading of the building code, this would be in violation of the code. However, I would point out, remind the board, a condition that has existed since the inception of this condominium in 2003. In order to address this particular violation that's been cited by the city, there really are not a lot of alternatives. Access alone creates somewhat of a barrier, especially from the back of the building. There is no access from the front of the building except through Unit 1. And therefore, the only solutions would be as follows. First, to relocate all the utilities out of the basement into the respective units, which is at an exorbitant cost. We've had contractors review this based upon the age of the building and certainly how the utilities are currently run. That would be a huge undertaking in order to make this comply. The second is to request relief under the building code for this particular condition, and again, a longstanding condition. Now, I'm certainly familiar as practitioner before this board that granting building code relief without some type of plan is never really the most optimal approach. And I would point out that we do think there's a practical solution for this. One is to allow for the status quo to remain as has existed for more than 23 years. But with the caveat that in the event that there is any rehabilitation or substantial renovation of the building, that compliance be achieved. And basically the point, Madam Chair, is that to relocate these utilities by these particular unit owners, none of which had any responsibility in creating the condition, would put a huge burden financially on them. And we believe that if, in fact, there is a renovation or rehabilitation of the building in the future, that is a more appropriate time for the condition to be corrected. And once again, I would point out that from a practical standpoint, it has worked. Any access that has been needed to get to the utilities is something that has not been an issue for the unit owners, and the board has evidence of that in writing. And we believe that this condition can continue and certainly can be done in a way that is accessible by all unit owners. I would point out that, as you can see, this particular building is landlocked. While there may be emergency egress over other properties, there's not a particular means of egress to the backyard anyhow. So even if we could put a door into the back of the building, there would be no practical means to access it. You'd still have to go through Unit 1 to get to the utilities. So those are just some of the quick overview items for this particular request. And again, I understand fully that the board is not necessarily inclined unless there's some alternative or plan that can be achieved. And all we're asking for is to allow for these units to remain marketable, both from a finance standpoint, from a saleability standpoint, from an insurance standpoint, that the violation that has been issued by the city be addressed through relief, with the caveat that in the event of substantial rehabilitation, that the condition would be corrected at that time, certainly when the costs can be addressed. I'm happy to address any comments or questions from the board, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board?
Do we have the commissioner or someone from ISD to speak on this issue?
Caroline, do you want to weigh in?
I don't believe so. I would just defer to the board's judgment on this one.
Okay. Has there been conversations in regards to correcting the action in regards to renovating the unit? You would have to remove some of the square footage of Unit 1 to remedy the situation?
It's a great question. Not only would there have to be a change to Unit 1, Units 2 and Unit 3 to receive the utilities, Ms. Benabraza, would also have to be altered. There's not a real practical solution. We did have a contractor go through the entire building to determine whether or not this would be a feasible solution. Anything's possible, I guess is the way to look at this, but at great cost. This building being old with utilities where they're at would almost require a pretty substantial change in the building itself for both the plumbing and the electrical. And in order to do that, that would come at great cost and expense to the entire building.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, not a condition they created.
Right, there's only really two solutions because, as you noted, the law is landlocked, because I was looking at potentially having a bulk access at the rear, but that's not really possible because you can't really get vehicles back there. So I really see two solutions. One is for Unit 1 to reduce the square footage and leave the utility systems where it is, but to provide public access. And then the other is, as you mentioned, the other one I think is also significant, which is to replace the HVAC units and put them directly in each of the unit. It's a very difficult ask to ask a zoning board to allow a building code violation due to the developer or the person that sold the property that was already kind of in violation. It's a big ask. I'm inclined to not support it, or to potentially let you know that there is an appeals process that you can go through with the building code appeals board. But that's just, my colleagues here might have a different take on it, but I just wanted to give you kind of my opinion. Yeah.
If I may, Madam Chair, and I fully understand Ms. Better-Baraza's point, and we do respect the board's position on granting building code relief. I think what we're maybe asking here is sort of a hybrid. One is, to recognize that this is a condition, and it's not just HVAC, it would be the water heaters, the heating system, plumbing, all plumbing, and electrical panels as well. And there is no other option for access except through the unit, whether it's through the back, if you could get to the back, or through the front, which is the current arrangement now. And the access into that area has been a non-issue for the other unit owners at least as long as my clients have owned it, and certainly as long as they've owned it as well. I believe what we're saying is, in recognition of the board's, sort of, as you mentioned, an unusual, if not rare instance, is that the board condition any relief on the requirement that, to the extent that any future, what I would define as any substantial renovation of the building itself, at that time would be a more practical and cost-effective choice in order to address those conditions. But to simply require them to make this change now, again, for a condition none of these people have created, and something that they certainly weren't aware of, at least until most recently in 2025, when the city issued a violation. We don't understand why that occurred, especially after as long as this has been in existence. This is something that I believe we're looking for lack of a better term, a temporary bridge until such time as a renovation of that extent can be undertaken in the building, and not something that burdens the current owners with a building code violation hanging over their head, which certainly affects marketability, insurance, and financing.
Great. Thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Where in Unit 1 is the access for everyone? Like how intrusive is it?
It's
Sure.
through the stairs. If you look at can you go to the plans?
Yeah, we can go to unit, go to the amended plan.
Can you zoom in? Yeah, so you have to go through the dining room to go down to the hall corridor.
Yeah, you would enter unit 1 at the front. You'd walk down and down the stairs into the utility area. Again, the trustees have been afforded. All the trustees have a key to the unit, and again, the unit 1 owner understands that is an accessible issue. There's an arrangement that in the event that they're not even available or at home, trustees can make entry into the unit, which is actually something that's pretty typical in all condos, regardless of whether or not the utility room is located there. Generally, in condo docs, we have the ability of trustees to make access into the unit. So whether it's for service or for replacement or just access for maintenance, all of that is something, and again, outlined specifically in the condominium documents as well, that allows for that access from other unit owners.
It's very rare that they have to access another unit to get to their utility.
Great. Yeah, again,
because that violates the code, but,
yeah. I agree, and this, you know, this is a condition, once again, that the original developer appears to have created more than 20 years ago. And as I said, we have multiple unit owners now, or not even first unit owners that are owning units in this building, that have, you know, lived with this condition for as long as they've owned the units.
Other questions from the board? Hearing none, is there a motion?
Madam Chair, I'm going to put a motion forward of denial. I think the project should go in front of the Building Code Appeals Board, because otherwise we would just be kicking it to future owners. This the problem of this violation.
Madam Chair, if I may just briefly on that, if the board were to grant the relief with the caveat, it technically wouldn't kick it to future owners. It would only, in the event that there's rehabilitation of the building, result in the change. And again, that would be a more practical time to make those expenditures. But the purpose would be that the violation would no longer exist pending, you know, any substantial renovation of the building.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Mr. Stenbridge?
I'm going to vote no on the motion. I think there is a more practical matter way to approach it to solve all of them.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
No.
Ms. Better-Brazza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
No.
The chair votes no, the motion does not carry. Is there another motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr.
But
Stenbridge?
what is the motion to approve with any kind of caveat around future renovations requiring them fixing this building code issue?
Well, yeah, I would say that a larger renovation would trigger that they have to fix it. Not sure how to word that, I guess.
I can be creative, Mr. Collins.
Any suggestions, Caroline, how to word that?
I think you could just say with substantial renovation, because substantial means that there's going to be a financial, a large, renovation. You can just say the word substantial renovation.
I would even go so far as to say substantial renovation on Unit 1 alone. If Unit 1 is substantially renovated, then it has to be addressed, not even the entire building. Make it more narrow.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve, to approve with a substantial renovation. Does that make sense?
Unit 1?
Unit 1.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Better-Brazza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
With that, we'll move on to the hearing scheduled for 9:30 a.m. There is one case that's been marked as to defer, but at this time, we'll also ask if there are any other cases to be withdrawn or deferred.
Yes, Mr. Stenbridge, I believe Eastwood Circuit is mine as well. I know that's being moved to August 11th.
And with that, we will go there first. That being for case BOA 185-6474, with the address of 43 Eastwood Circuit. Attorney Lenz.
No, Madam Chair, I have to recuse from this case.
Okay. So we're a six-member board.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. Yeah, Madam Chair, members of the board, Richard Lenz, 245 Sumner Street, East Boston, on behalf of the petitioner. I believe we are moving this to August 11th. I don't believe there's a notice requirement, but we've already worked that out with Caroline and Stephanie.
Sorry, Madam Chair, I also need to recuse.
Okay, we are a five-member board. Any questions from the remaining board? Okay, was that a question, Ms. Donato?
No, just I was going to make a motion to.
Okay, let's go for it. Let's make a motion.
Motion to defer to August 11th.
Second.
Thank you. Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Ms. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Better Baraza,
Yes.
Ms. Panado.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. See you then.
Thank you. Next one, we have a 7-9 Murray Court, which it moves on for 9:30.
That will do. So this would be for case BOA 1844018 with the address of 7 to 9 Murray Court. Attorney Lenz.
Yes, thank you again for the record. Richard Lenz, 245 Summer Street, East Boston, on behalf of the petitioner. This one, we're seeking a short deferral as well. We reviewed the recommendation of the planning department. We would like to go back and just see if there's anything we could do to address some of the comments. And I believe we had asked for August 11th on this as well, if that's still available.
Yes,
Can you? Yes, okay. Any questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Motion to defer the case till August 11th.
There's a second?
Second?
Mr. Stenbridge,
Yes.
Mr. Valencia,
Yes.
Ms. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Better Baraza,
Yes.
Ms. Panado,
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes, sir.
That's good. Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
And Madam Chair, there is one other case noted here, the 930, that this being case BOA 1826508 with the address of 401A to 401 Chelsea Street. Attorney Lenz.
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Stenbridge. Madam Chair, members of the board, Richard Lenz, 245 Sumner Street, East Boston, on behalf of the petitioner. I believe we are looking for deferral to September 8th on this matter.
That's what's noted here, yes.
Can you elaborate?
Again, planning recommendation, and we do believe there are some errors in the analysis. We'd like to review those with our architect and team, and we believe we can address any of the comments and concerns, including removal of some of the violations that have been cited by ISD.
Any questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Motion to defer this case until September 8th.
Is there a second?
Madam Chair, before I second, I want to ask Caroline if for September 8th the agenda is already packed, or if we have a space to defer cases for that date.
We have space for a few cases.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, was there a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Stenbridge,
Yeah.
Mr. Valencia,
Yes.
Ms. Turner,
Yes.
Ms. Better Baraza,
Yes.
Ms. Panado,
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Okay, is that another raised hand, Mr. Tevnin? Are you
Yes.
looking for a deferral?
No, Madam Chair, I'm here appearing on the next case.
Okay, are there any other deferrals or withdrawals for 9:30?
I saw Attorney Guerriere on, wanting a deferral.
Yeah, the attorney there, he was looking to refer one case, but I sent him a message in the chat as well, but
I don't see him anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, well, if he appears, we can do that.
Okay, please proceed.
In the meantime, we have a trifecta of companion cases. First, we have case BOA 1859998 with the address of 97 to 97A Milton Street. Along with that, we have case BOA 1859995 with an address of 101A Milton Street. And along with both of those, we have case BOA 1859988 with the address of 99 to 99A Milton Street. If the applicants and or their representative are present, they please explain these cases to the board.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Charlie Tepman. I'm attorney at 15 Broad Street in Boston. I'm appearing on behalf of the petitioner, Sean George, and the developer, the Cedar Grove Cemetery. This proposal seeks to construct 3 separate 2-unit dwellings on a 15,876 square foot lot. 6 units in total, each having 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. There are 2.5 stories proposed. Height is 30.6 feet. The size of each unit at 97 and 99 Milton Street is approximately 1,200 square feet. The size of each unit at 101 Milton Street is approximately 1,000 square feet. The 3 separate dwellings are designed to appear more like single-family homes from the street, which ties well into the fabric and the history of the Cedar Grove neighborhood. By way of background, in 2024, representatives of the Cedar Grove Cemetery brought a petition to the City of Boston Zoning Commission to rezone this 15,876 square foot parcel, a land which is unsuitable for burials due to the prevalence of ledge. The Zoning Commission granted the petition and the land was rezoned to 1F5000. Notably, this small portion of the cemetery has long been residential in nature. On the same lot is an existing 100-year-old single-family residence, which for many years was set aside for the cemetery superintendent. However, the existing structure has been unoccupied for many years and is not habitable. The property is located approximately 1/2 mile from the Ashburn MBTA station and approximately 1/4 mile to the Neponset River bike paths, and is located just off Granite Avenue, close to the Galvin Boulevard thoroughfare. The proponent, the petitioner, has completed the neighborhood process and the abutter process with support from a number of abutters, and we have submitted to the board a letter of support from the Cedar Grove Civic Association, which voted unanimously in support of the proposed project. We've also been in close communication with the Office of District Councilor John Fitzgerald regarding this project before, during, and after the community process. Looking at the surrounding context, we feel that this project is appropriate. There are mostly single-family residences directly across the street, as well as a number of 2- and 3-family residences nearby. We believe that the design respects the surrounding scale and character of the neighborhood and furthers city planning goals. Understand that the planning department has recommended approval of this project with design review, and that the planning department recommendation concludes that the requested zoning relief for this project is appropriate. I do want to note for the board that the refusal letters contain an error that states that there is a violation of insufficient frontage, but in fact the frontage is 147 feet and minimum frontage would be 50 feet, so that is not a violation. But just in conclusion, the proponent, Sean George, and Anthony Pachuli, the acting superintendent of the cemetery, are also available on this hearing to answer any questions regarding process or design-related questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board?
Would you be open to a reduction of parking spaces as was recommended by the BPD?
Well,
They
we
recommended
would,
to go down to 8 versus 12?
I understand that is part of the recommendation, and we would like to address it through design review. I do want to note that parking was a major issue with direct abutters, and that to accommodate their concerns, the number of spaces set at 12. And if there is a goal to have greater open space or permeability by reducing the number of parking spaces, I do want to note that this parcel is surrounded by 39 acres of permeable open space. And we think that we struck a balance by accommodating and addressing the direct abutter concerns about parking. And all of these off-street parking will not impact the direct abutters, but we would certainly address that to the board through the design review process.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that. I do think that the BPD has some good comments in regards to the reduction of parking. I'm thinking more from a site planning perspective. If you were to reduce or remove the 4 parking space next to unit 7A, 7B, you wouldn't necessarily have headlights into their bedroom units. So I do think that there could be a very good exercise on site planning to allow also for open space in the lot. So thank you. No further questions.
Other questions from the board?
Yes, I want to just follow up from Ms. Barraza's comment. I'm looking at the map and Mr. Tipman, sorry.
Yes.
During your presentation, you mentioned that the red line is very close to the property. It's probably 0.3 miles. So that is walking distance, right, to the red line or public transit. And just thinking about what this board has been approving over the last 3 or 4 years, we have been promoting environmentally friendly developments. And I see the recommendation from the planning department. I was thinking about 2 parking spaces per unit is fair. More than that, I think that's for my colleagues to make a recommendation, but for me at this moment, it's hard to support the amount of parking that you are proposing. So I just wanted to make that comment for the record.
Yeah,
Thank you.
particularly since they're small units. And what about the tree canopy on the existing site? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well,
Would you clear cut the whole site to accomplish this development?
not at all. The cemetery's goal is to preserve and protect the trees. The cemetery is really a community resource and like an arboretum. And so we will take every effort to protect the existing mature trees that are on the site. I did note that most of this site is ledge. That the number of mature trees is, it's surrounded by numerous mature vegetation, but not on the particular lot.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board? May I have public testimony?
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Eva Jones, representing the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Regarding 97 to 100 Milton Street, our office defers to the board's judgment. A community process was conducted, including an abutters meeting held on Wednesday, November 19th, 2025, that was very well attended by the Dorchester community. Feedback from this meeting was that while the community wanted to support the Cedar Grove Cemetery, there were significant concerns regarding density in the neighborhood and the amount of parking possibly causing the residents of the proposed establishment to take up more street parking, which is already under stress in the neighborhood, with residents requesting more parking spots. Additionally, we received one letter in opposition expressing many of the same concerns that were in the abutters meeting. The proposal was also reviewed with the Cedar Grove Civic Association at their meeting on April 8th, 2026. The association expressed support and where all members voted to support the proposal and also provided a formal letter of support submitted to the board. At this time, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services defers to the board's judgment on this matter. Thank you everyone for your time and consideration.
Next, we have Liam Rimas from Councilor Fitzgerald.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. Liam Remus from Councilor Fitzgerald's office. The council would like to go on record and support the proposal due to the work that did in the community process to get support. As already mentioned, the parking issue is a big concern of the community to kind of get off street parking sites. So thank you.
Madam Chair, there are no additional comments.
Okay, any other comments or questions from the board? Mr. Tubman?
No comments or questions from the proponent, Madam Chair.
Okay. With that, may I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll put forward a motion of approval with a proviso that the project undergoes site planning design review with BPD to reduce the amount of parking and to increase the amount of open space.
Is there a second?
Second?
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes, especially considering the reduction of parking as the planning department recommended.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Chair, you forgot to call on me.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Now the motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board, and thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Next, we have case BOA 182-7377 with the address of 516 Harvard Street. If the applicant and or their representative are present, will they please explain the case to the board?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Stenbridge, and good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the record, Attorney Matt Eckel with Fletcher Tilton on behalf of the applicant. Joining me today is Eric Zackerson from Context, the project architect. The proposal that we're putting forward this morning and seeking relief for is to renovate the existing building located at 516 Harvard Street and change the occupancy from a 3-family dwelling to a 4-family dwelling. The subject property is located on Harvard Street in Mattapan across from the Olmsted Green development and is in close proximity just up the street from Morton Street. The property is located in an R2 zoning subdistrict, and we're seeking relief for the proposed use, as well as the location of the main entrance to the proposed 4th unit. We're seeking to convert the existing lower level living space into a 4th standalone residential unit. This space already has its own dedicated entrances, and the project would include renovating that living space as well as installing window wells for the bedrooms. No changes are proposed to the existing upper level units, and we believe this is a good example of how you can take existing underutilized space within an existing structure to create housing, which is in line with Plan Mattapan. Overall, the proposed new unit would contain 3 bedrooms and 1 bathroom, as well as a somewhat open concept living room, dining room, and kitchen. The applicant did attend an abutters meeting with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services, as well as meeting with the Wellington Hill Neighborhood Association, who ultimately voted to approve the project. With that, I'll pause and take any questions the board may have.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board? May I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and members of the board, my name is Jeremy Beverly. I'm Community Engagement Specialist for the Office of Neighborhood Services. It has completed the community process, which consisted of an abutters meeting facilitated on April 15th with no hearings were raised. Next, the proposal was presented to Wellington Hill Neighborhood Association, where to date our office has received has not received any further community feedback at this time, to my knowledge. Thank you for your time, and the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services would like to defer to the board.
Madam Chair, there are no additional comments.
Okay, with that, may I have a motion?
Motion of approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have case BOA 1855366 with the address of 32 Fisher Ave. If the applicant and/or their representative are present, would they please explain the case to the board?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Luis Santana with HS Construction Consulting Services. I'm here on behalf of the owner, Kieran Meher, on this existing three-family dwelling that we are converting into a four-dwelling unit. We will be seeking relief from 5 violations. One of them is off-street parking. The use itself is not permitted in a three-family zone. We have a slight increase in the floor area ratio. Usable open space is existing non-conforming and insufficient. And we have insufficient additional lot area. This is a large existing three-family occupying the first, second, and third story. It's an unusual building because this one includes a very large roof configuration instead of a flat, typical 3-acre flat roof, and is sitting on a 3,101 approximately square feet lot size, undersized lot. The attic area, which is very large because of the height of the hip, it has been occupied and was purchased as a finished space. When the owner acquired this property many years ago, it appears that it was constructed also many years ago. As part of the scope, since it's a finished already space, we are proposing to slightly modify, as you can see from this plan, the secondary means of egress from the attic space by enlarging the landing of the stairs and also increasing the headroom for the stairs, which is just slightly under 6'8". And that small shed dormer, as you can see from the section, will accomplish the required building code ceiling height for that stair. We are also adding a small rear deck to the property. Very straightforward. These are the only renovations. Everything else is existing as a 2-bedroom unit with a kitchen. Is owner occupied. It will be occupied by the owner of the building. And the relief is minimum. We are increasing the FAR by a fraction of 0.01. And that is the result of increasing the headroom for the stairs to make it compliant. The open space also, although cited, we are not altering that. It's almost compliant, deficient by about 100 square feet. And the lot size, which is an existing non-conforming narrow small lot for the area, is the other deficiency. And obviously, there is no off-street parking. This is consistent with the character of the neighborhood. There are several multi-family residences in the area, and the work in order to accomplish this conversion is minimal. At this point, I will be happy to answer any questions from the board or members of the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and board members, Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This petitioner completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on May 11th at which no concerns were raised. The Community Alliance of Mission Hill is supporting this application. With that background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, there are no additional comments.
With that, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion approval.
There a second?
Better, Rosa.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Tarn?
Yes.
Ms. Better Brazza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board.
Next, we have case BOA 1848595 with the address of 320 Summer Street. This is an Article 80 case, and if the applicant and or their representative would please explain to the board.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Mr. Secretary, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Joe Hanley, 28 State Street in Boston, here on behalf of the petitioner, take you through this presentation in front of you very quickly. Next page, our development team, Hanning Capital is the new owner and proponent of this office to residential conversion project. Willie Gao, who is the principal, is with us. We're also here with Stantec Architects, Aaron Hodges. Next slide, just to give you a quick project overview here. This is a fairly significant scale and contributing office to residential conversion project. It's an adaptive reuse of the existing combined historic structure at 320 Summer Street. We went through the City of Boston's office to residential pilot program and tax abatement, and it's noted by the Secretary, were approved under Article 80 large project review in May of this year. This is a simple use conversion of, you'll see in the plan right, these are two combined buildings that were built around 1900, and they were former Boston Wharf industrial buildings, most recently utilized by LogMeIn as office, and they've been vacant since the pandemic. Key metrics, the building is approximately 130,907 gross square feet within the combined structure. We're proposing 145 new residential units. I think this is the second largest of its type under the pilot program. About 2,398 square feet of amenity space. There's also an existing roof deck on the top of the building that served the office but wasn't fully accessible. We're making that accessible and including it into the program for the residents. Parking and storage is accommodated because of the limitations of the building and not being able to get into it. We're unable to create parking, and the building does occupy most of the lot. However, we have worked with the BPDA, the neighborhood, knowing we're in a watershed of South Station and in the area, to include long-term bicycle storage and a transit management plan. The units break down 46 studios, 76 one-bedrooms, and 23 two-bedrooms, very much driven by the challenges of the adaptive reuse within the historic structure. Next slide, just quickly. Obviously, key benefits here is taking an asset that is non-productive and has been vacant since the pandemic, creating much-needed housing in a watershed in a transit-oriented neighborhood in the 4 Point section of South Boston. We are proud that 25 of these units will be income restricted for affordable housing, which is a pretty strong contribution. Obviously, we'll be complying with pilot program sustainability and green design measures, new job creation for construction, and transit management planning. Next slide shows you the existing conditions. As I said, the total area of the building is a little under 18,000 square feet, just the footprint. The lot is 18,820, so basically it covers most of the lot. There is some unique conditions here. If you look at this plan up as north, there is a drop in grade. The main entrance of the building is on Summer Street to the south. It's 5 and 6 stories, and then as it goes back along A Street in the back is what is called Sleeper Street Extension. It goes to 7 and 8 stories. And so along that A Street elevation that is lower, we're also introducing 7,500 square feet of retail to activate that street front and contribute to the vibrancy of the area. The next slide shows you the zoning. The change of use, which again is supported by the pilot and the process to residential in this zone, requires a conditional use permit. The FAR, the existing building, is non-conforming. 4 is what's required. You will see in the plans that in order to accommodate a good residential conversion, we're including about 8,000 square feet of mezzanine area for the loft units within the existing building, and that does increase its FAR, but it's not beyond the building footprint. Open space is also an existing nonconformity. As I mentioned, we have an existing roof deck that we are now making accessible, and obviously we don't have any other really ground level space to create any significant amount of open space other than some street side cafe area for the retail along A Street. Finally, in the next slide, you will see the zoning code refusal letter. I'll also note that we're in the groundwater conservation overlay district. We have submitted the approved groundwater plans, and Boston Water and Sewer sign off for that. Next slide, just have Aaron quickly walk you through how these units come together, and then we'll hand it back to you, Madam Chair. Aaron?
Thanks, Joe. Good overview. The existing facade of the building, we are not touching for the most part. There's a few cases at the alley side of the facade that does have historic indication of historic opening that we will be restoring. The main facade on Summer Street and A Street will remain intact. The condition of the existing facade is very well maintained since it was recently occupied by the LogMeIn office user. And the footprint of this building is quite ideal for a residential conversion project since the dimension of the building width falls within the ideal width for a double-loaded residential corridor layout. And in this elevation along Summer Street, you can clearly see now the 2 building partition with the left and the right division in the middle. The accessibility of the existing office use does not conform with a few accessibility requirements, and we are going back and fixing all of those for the new residential use. Next page, please. This is a sectional diagram reiterating the programmatic uses and the access locations for the building in the long section along Summer Street. In the middle, where you see the lobby amenity colored in yellow, that is going to be the main entrance that is consistent with the previous office use. That's where the residents are going to come in, have their lobby amenity, mail, package, and direct accessibility to elevators that will take you to all the floors. And right below this lobby amenity box, you will see the loft units that Joe had mentioned where we're creating the mezzanine levels. Next to those are going to be additional amenity space, including some fitness and club rooms. And the lowest floor, where we had labeled the peach color retail, that will have direct access to A Street, and that will be the frontage for the retail as well to activate that piece of the sidewalk frontage right under the Summer Street Bridge. For those of you who's familiar with that side, that area needs quite a bit more activation in comparison to current condition. I think that retail will benefit that neighborhood quite a bit. Then at the very top of this section diagram, you see the roof deck. As of now, no accessibility, and we're adding a lift for all the residents to be able to access that roof deck. Next page. This is an overview diagram showing you a typical floor layout. So double-loaded corridor with a few jogs, maintaining 2 existing stairs and 2 existing elevators, and the rest of the floor plate efficiently gets laid out with units ranging from small studios all the way to 2 bedrooms. I believe that's the extent of our presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the board?
Just, yes, Mr. Hanley, I was looking at the memo and you filed the letter of intent in April. You filed the letter of intent for this project in April, so I'm just looking at the process, and I think this was a very fast process.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just want to give kudos to the city for moving this fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea of the pilot program, right? Here in the in a housing crisis, and the administration it's been a huge success, you know, pro rata if you look across the board, not just downtown, but in points, Four Point and the like, right? So, you know, I think speaking for this project in particular, it's such a beautiful building, and to sit vacant is really a shame, especially being at the foot of South Station and in such an area with, you know, vibrant neighborhood serving retail and jobs and the like. So, yeah, it moved very quickly, and that is the dividend of the pilot program through Article 80, and really appreciate the BPDA and the mayor's office for their leadership and guidance, as well as the South Boston elected officials and the neighborhood activists.
Thank you. And for the Article 79 inclusionary development, you have 20%, including 3% vouchers.
17%, and then we have a portion of HUD voucher programs. So yeah, the way that breaks down into 25 units with a AMI of approximately 60% of AMI. So, and obviously a blend of 1s, 2-bedroom studios commensurate with that. So a pretty big impact. I think the largest one is on Washington Street that they've done, and this would be the second biggest with respect to the number of units. So they help a lot of people that need affordable housing.
All right, thank you for the information.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Do you have a sense of what the units will go for that are, I think the majority are your 1-bedrooms at 520 average?
You mean from the affordability standpoint or just market rate?
Market rate.
You know, I think I don't. I think it will be commensurate with where the market is now, right? But with respect to the affordables, for example, you know, in accordance with 60% AMI, a 1-bedroom would be about $1,300 a month, which is a good opportunity, right? And then, you know, we do not have parking. This isn't a full, you know, luxury full service building. It's and because of the sizes of the units, which is really dictated by the uniqueness of the property inside and how it's put together, we do think this is going to serve the workforce really well. And, you know, it is a great location for that. So that pricing, without giving you actual numbers, right, I would say it's not comping with like the super luxury places in the area. So it will, from a market rate standpoint, I think it will be more accessible as well.
Okay. I just, you know, you have over 130 units going out to the market. And the crisis is on affordability, and, you know, the small square footage allows for a quantity and hopefully a reduction of price. And so I'm sure you did the market analysis, and it would have been nice. I understand the affordable part, which is the 29 units you're offering, but I wanted to also get a sense of the market units. What are they going for in this area?
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest we don't just have an affordability crisis, we have a housing crisis across the board. And if we're not creating market rate units, that also burdens other aspects of housing that aren't available for other people to grow in a city that's diverse with respect to demographics. So there's no question that, you know, as much as we talk about family style housing, there is a huge percentage of younger workers and empty nesters that are overhoused that are looking for this type of housing. And the bigger the units are, the more you're going to spend in rent.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not, it's a very simple question. It's, you must have done the marketability. I'm just asking what the range is.
Yeah, I mean, it's competitive with base ranges now, right? So I don't know what that is because I'm not the broker. It's not really.
Maybe
but as far as demand goes, I don't think you're going to see a situation where these are going to be vacant. And, you know, we have built a lot of luxury housing on the waterfront. We haven't built a lot of baseline, really good, attainable, and reasonably sized market rate housing for rent at a transit node like this. So I think it's a superior product that is going to, you know, be snapped up pretty quickly.
Okay, thank you. With that, may I have public testimony?
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. At this time, the Mayor's Office will defer to the judgment of this board. Sorry, you guys getting an echo?
Yes, I do. We sure do. So turn off.
All right.
Okay, maybe we should go with Councilor Flynn's office first, and we can come back to you, Connor.
Hi, my name is Ashley from Councilor Flynn's office. Councilor Flynn would like to go on record in support due to a good community process. At the same time, he will continue to work closely with the planning department staff on a home rule petition that would allow for Boston to join other municipalities in Massachusetts on affordable housing preferences for veterans and military families. Moreover, while the proponent and planning department included language to restrict resident parking and participation in the city's RPP program, it is critical that the Boston Transportation Department and Office of Parking Clerk enforce that policy inclusion on an existing list of Article 80 projects currently maintained by the parking clerk. Councilor Flynn respectfully requests that proponent continue to work closely with neighbors on any quality of life issues during the construction phase. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Dylan Norris from the Planning Department.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is Dylan Norris. I am a project manager with the Development Review Division of the Planning Department and the project manager for the Article 80B large project before you today. The 320 Summer Street development team filed their project notification form on April 7th, 2026, which was distributed through the South Boston distribution list. The Planning Department also sponsored a virtual public meeting on the 29th of April, 2026. The public meetings were posted on the Planning Department calendar, and emailed notifications were sent to all subscribers of the South Boston Waterfront Neighborhood email update list. Local elected officials and their staff were also notified of the meetings. The comment period associated with the project notification form closed on May 7th. The project was then brought before and approved by the BPDA board on May 14th, 2026. I'm happy to answer any questions members of the board may have related to the Article 80 review process and associated community process. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Connor Newman with the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. It's time to defer to the judgment of this board. As you heard from the Boston Planning Department, this went through their office residential conversion process, a small project review following a public meeting on April 29th. The applicant engaged with the Four Point Neighborhood Association. They had some concerns related to the interior configuration of the building. They had a positive reaction to the outer facade of the building being preserved, and they appreciated the commitment to affordable units there, although they highly encouraged the applicant to make those units be affordable to artists, honoring the historic tradition of an artist community in the Four Point neighborhood since the 1970s. With that information, we'll defer to the board. Thank you.
Next, we have Christian Simonelli.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Christian Simonelli, Executive Director, Boston Groundwater Trust, and we have both GCOD letters from the applicant.
Thank you. We have Mark Delazio.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Mark Delazio. I'm a business representative for the North Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters, and we just want to be on the record as being in full support of this project. Thank you.
Madam Chair, we don't have additional comments.
Thank you. Any other comments from the applicant? Any other questions or comments from the board? May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion of approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yeah.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Better-Brazza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Next, we have case BOA 1834698 with the address of 47 to 49 Gray Street. If the applicant and/or their representative are present, will they please explain to the board?
Good morning. My name is Julian Miller. I am the general contractor representing 47 Gray Street LLC. We are currently renovating this single-family home, and we've submitted an amendment to our ALT to add a rear deck off the first floor of the existing structure. This rear deck is very much in kinds with many of the other decks throughout the neighborhood, and importantly, it's only on the first floor. It is not multiple levels. If you scroll down to page 6, you can see some of the elevations of the building. On the bottom right, you can see the rear deck off that first floor, and then the elevation that's directly above it is the elevation facing the rear. We have many letters of support for this rear deck. We also reached out to the Ellis Neighborhood Association, who opted not to review the scope as it's in keeping with the many other decks currently installed in the neighborhood. We also complied with the GCOD requirement and executed a full proper drainage plan, which was approved by BWSC as part of our project. And you know, the deck is elevated, it's not on the ground, it's not a patio, therefore it is not impacted as noted by the refusal letter for a flood hazard district.
Thank you. Questions from the board? May I have public testimony?
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Eva Jones, representing the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Regarding 47 Gray Street, our office defers to the board's judgment. A community process was conducted, including an abutters meeting held on Wednesday, May 13th, 2026, that was well attended by South End community members, but not much feedback was shared. Additionally, we did receive 16 letters in support and 1 letter in opposition from a direct abutter of the applicant expressing concerns for privacy, the scale of the deck, and the ongoing construction that impacted their daily lives. The proposal was also connected with the Ellis Neighborhood Association that declined to meet with the proposal and does not provide feedback for residential projects. At this time, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services defers to the board's judgment on this matter. Thank you, everyone, for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Next, we have Ashley from City Councilor Lynn.
Thank you. Councilor Flynn would like to go on record in support based on a good community process and no concerns reported by neighbors or the Ellis Neighborhood Association. Thank you.
Next, we have Christian Simonelli.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Christian Simonelli, Executive Director, Boston Groundwater Trust, and we have both GCOD letters from the applicant.
And Madam Chair, I just put a comment from an abutter who was here earlier in the morning. I think she was concerned about the size of the decks.
Thank you. Does the applicant want to just comment on that before we proceed?
Yeah, I would just say the deck only protrudes the facade of the building by 8 feet, and it does span the full length of the building. Again, this is in kind with many of the adjacent decks, and it is only on the first floor. It is not multiple levels, like many of the other decks in the surrounding neighborhood.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Better Barossa, second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the board.
Next, we have case BOA 1814627 with the address of 97 Salem Street. If the applicant and/or their representative are present, would they please explain the case to the board?
Yes, Mr. Stenbridge. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Derek Small. I have a business address of 51 Dobson Road. With me today is Mr. Eric Luciano, who's the architect for the property. And we have the owners of the property online as well, Mr. Peter Alfay and Mr. Robert Bignata. Madam Chair, we are here today seeking a change the legal occupancy of the building from retail store and offices to retail store and 5 residential units. The zoning subdistrict here is the Salem Street Neighborhood Shopping District, which allows for the retail on the ground level and the residential units above. The violations, I'll start with building height. We are proposing a building height of 55 feet. The building code requires an elevator access and rooftop access by way of a head house, which obviously conflicts with the zoning code, which requires by a hatch. So we are in line with the mass and scale of other buildings on the site or in the neighborhood along Salem Street. FAR, the required FAR is 3. We are proposing 5.2, which is very common in the North End due to the density in the neighborhood. Open space, we are providing a roof deck with 200 square feet of open space, where 250 feet are required, so we're about approximately 50 square feet short on open space. Parking, with the 5 units, we are required for 5 off-street parking spaces. We are providing 0. However, we are running with transit-oriented parking or development as the site sits approximately a 2-minute walk to Haymarket T Station and approximately a 5-minute walk to North Station. We redesigned the building and we removed the rear yard setback, which was the original violation, by moving the building in 10 feet to satisfy that violation. I'll turn it over now to Mr. Eric Luciano, who is the architect for the project, and he can go through the plans.
Well, so we have a building with a first floor retail component proposed as a bakery. That includes, basement storage space as well. Above that, we have, thank you. We have 2 one-bedroom, 1-bath units. On the level above that, which would be the 3rd floor, we have a floor-through 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath unit. And then on the preceding 4th, 5th, and 6th floors, we have back-to-front units where, Unit 4 and Unit 5 are triplexes that are approximately 1,600 square foot, 4-bedroom, 2.5 baths. And as Derek mentioned, those have their usable open space on the roof. This includes, a deck for each unit. We have an elevator head house and then 2 stair head houses that get to the decks. We are proposing that those would not be included in the building height due to their being under the 330 square foot allowable. So the proposed height of the building should be listed as under the 55 feet, which is allowable in the neighborhood, in the area. The structure in the front, that is the bay, starts at approximately 17.5 feet above the sidewalk. So this should allow for no issues with fire access, etc. And that protrudes out 3 feet, which also is allowed by the balcony allowable as 3 1/3 feet for balconies. So that would all be within that same code compliance.
And again, Madam Chair, we are at 55 feet with regard to the height. Again, the building code requires us to have the head houses on top for rooftop access for the elevator and for access to the roof. We'll stop there. We can answer any questions that the board may have.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. My name is Eva Jones, representing the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services. Regarding 97 Salem Street, our office defers to the board's judgment. A community process was conducted, including an abutters meeting held on 3/26/25 and 9/29/25. That was well attended by North End community members. The feedback from this meeting was concerns about the size and scale of the project impacting neighboring buildings, light, and how the development of this project would already affect a small street. Overall, the community was opposed to the proposal. Additionally, we received 2 letters in support, letting me know that they support the proposal and would be happy to see new neighbors and new businesses on the first floor, and 1 letter in opposition who expressed the ongoing issues that neighbors have had with the different proposals that have been brought before them, which the community has been opposed every time. The proposal was also reviewed by the North End Waterfront Residents Association at their meeting on 12/11/25, and the association expressed opposition and has provided a formal letter in opposition to submitted to the board. Additionally, the proposal was also reviewed by the North End Waterfront Neighborhood Council at their meeting on November 10th and at their other meeting on December 8th, 2025, and the association has expressed support and has also provided a formal letter in support. At this time, the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Services defers to the board's judgment on this matter. Thank you, everyone, for your time and consideration.
If I may, Madam Chair.
May I see if there's any other public comment? Thank you.
I'll get back to that. Okay.
Okay, next we have Peter Alf.
Yes, so I'm one of the owners. We've been trying to permit this building for 26 years. We've owned it since 1995. We've had a business next door in the North End since 1990. My partner was born in the North End. We've redrawn this building where we started with 10 units. The latest redraw, the NORA wanted a 10-foot setback. We redrew it and we presented as we are today. We are planning on reopening our bakery that was put out of business by the Big Dig. It was Biscotti's. My mother, Ann Roberts' mother, used to work there. And we're planning on living on the top 2 units, 2 floors. We own Restaurante Uno. Our kids are working in the businesses. So this is more than just an investment for us. It's a place for our families to grow our business and live where we grew up and where my partner's family has been there for 100 years. We bent over backwards so many times redesigning. I mean, we are the only people in the North End that for 26 years, since 2000, have been trying to put up a building on our property. That was our business. We had an art import and specialty food business that was also put out of business from the Big Dig. And here we are today. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Yeah. Yes, we have a couple people. Then we have Darlene's.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, you have 90 seconds, please.
My name's Darlene Romano. I'm in abutter. I live at 90 Salem Street. My issue is we haven't seen these plans that they proposed. Every time they come before us, they tell us they're not sure of what they're going to do, but they show us similar of what they want to do. Also, they're going so far back that they are blocking about 4 buildings. All their windows are going to be maybe 6 feet away from the buildings. So I am opposed to them building this until we can straighten this whole, what the building looks like, and come to some type of agreement.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next we have David Kubiak.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. My name is David Kubiak, and I am testifying in behalf of the North End Waterfront Residents Association and its opposition to this appeal. The Residents Association met 4 times with the proponent regarding... I'm sorry, what?
Please proceed. Someone was talking over you.
Okay, thank you. The Residents Association met 4 times with the proponent regarding redevelopment at 97 Salem Street, twice on the original hotel proposal and twice on the current housing proposal. A presentation and discussion was held on December 11th, 2025 for Resident Association members and other North End Waterfront residents. At that meeting, association members present voted to oppose the project as proposed. We planned then to send a letter to the Board of Appeal, but learned that no appeal had yet been filed. Instead, the association sent its reasons for opposition to the Planning Department's Design Review Unit by letter dated January 6, 2026. Why? Because we had learned from the proponent at the December 11 meeting that the proponent was working with the Planning Department on design review. We understand that the proponent then filed an appeal on January 27, 2026. 5 months later, on June 17, 2026, we met with the Planning Department's Design Review Unit and learned that the Planning Department had no knowledge of the project, despite the issuance of a refusal letter and the filing of an appeal many months earlier. We understand that the Planning Department initiated a review of the appeal only after our meeting with them on June 27, a month ago. The Residents Association sent a letter this morning informing the Board of Appeal of its opposition and attaching reasons, as we stated in our letter of January 6 to the Planning Department. While NURA recognizes the potential benefits of improving the existing 1-story structure, including additional residential housing units, a more attractive building, and enhancement of the Salem Street corridor, our opposition is grounded in substantive zoning, urban design, and neighborhood impact concerns that remain unresolved, fundamental elements of the current proposal. The reasons include excessive building mass and density, failure to present massing alternatives, impacts on narrow, historic, and heavily trafficked Salem Street, shadow, sunlight, and ambient light impacts, and construction impacts. The project is unjustifiably and unreasonably too large, causing greater construction and long-term impacts to historic Salem Street and our residents. I thank the board for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Chair, we have 2 more people.
Okay, please try to add new information and keep it brief. Thank you.
The person with the Zoom user or the person with the iPhone. And now there is one more person. If you...
Hello?
Yeah, you...
Hi, my name is Ken Rothman.
Yes, you have 90 seconds, sir.
Yes, okay, thank you. My name is Ken Rothman. I'm a direct abutter to the property. I own the property at 85 to 95 Salem Street. I want to testify as to support of the project at 97 Salem Street. The owners have been working with me over the past year to mitigate some issues along the side of the building where they had windows originally, and they have removed those. And I believe housing is a very strong need in every community in Boston, especially in the North End. This would add 5 more units. The property has sat on our street unused and unrented for many years. It does not help the community or Salem Street's merchants or the residents for business development. The first floor will bring new business to Salem Street as first-class retail and other shopping options for North End residents. The Salem Street streetscape will also be improved by filling in the open space between 77 and 99 Salem Street. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Lisa Tamaro.
Yes, hi. My name is Patrick Tamaro. I am a owner and occupier of a building on Henchman Street. I have known Robert Renietta and Peter Alfie for over 30 years. I know they're very strong businessmen who have been an asset to the neighborhood of the North End for many, many years. I don't understand why the project has been hitting roadblocks all along the way because of the need for more housing and apartments in the North End, with the lack of opportunities for people to move in. And you know, it's a great neighborhood. They've been part of the neighborhood as business owners for many years. And I definitely in full support of this project, and still don't understand what the roadblocks have been for 20-something years. I just wanted to go on record in saying that we've owned the building on Henchman Street for almost 75 years. My grandparents owned it, and it's definitely, I've been an occupier of it for over 30 years, and we definitely need more housing in the North End. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, there is one more person.
Okay, last one, please.
The person with the iPhone, now you can unmute yourself.
Hi, my name is Liza Garcia Regneta. I'm one of the owners, my wife to Robert Regneta. I just wanted to say we have made many amendments to our project to appease the neighbors and to develop the area. And we just don't understand why we keep getting the opposition that we are getting. We've done shadow studies that does not interfere with any lighting to any other properties. We've cut back the rear, and there's no windows that will be blocked. So I just wanted to put that on record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other feedback from Attorney Small?
Yes, Madam Chair. I'd just like to say, with regard to the Office of Neighborhood Services and the support, Mr. Stembridge, you should have approximately 30 letters of support in the file, as well as a letter from the Neighborhood Council supporting the project. I don't know if that was read into the record or if you have those available. But Madam Chair, development project at this site has been in the works for 15 to 20 years. It's taken on many different forms. We're from 18 units to 10 to 8 to a boutique hotel to now where we are today, which is retail space on the ground level and 5 residential units. This probably is the least intrusive development project at the site as proposed. While keeping in step and in line with Boston 2030 with residential goals, we're proposing a modest 5 units at the site. And in concluding, I just want to say we are aware of the BPD's recommendation, and we will work with them on their provisos to rearrange the head houses. And again, the height of the building is at 55 feet, and we are required to do the head houses as under the building code for rooftop access. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with a proviso that the project undergoes BPD design review to review the exterior elevation of the building and to also review the penthouse and the locations of the deck. Given that it's on a prominent street on Salem Street, it does need some design review on the exterior to kind of work with the character of the street.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Better Baraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Have a good day.
Thank you. And with that, I think we are done with the 9:30s, and I will see you at 11:30.
Yes.
Thank you, all right.
Present, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Mr. Valencia?
Present, Madam Chair.
Ms. Turner?
Yes, present, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Barraza?
Yes, present.
Ms. Panado?
Present, Madam Chair.
Mr. Collins?
Present, Madam Chair.
Excellent, thank you. Back to you, Mr. Stenbridge.
Yes, Madam Chair, we'll move on to the rediscussion cases scheduled for 11:30. At this time, we'll also ask if there are any requests for withdrawals or deferrals from the 11:30 timeframe.
Mr. Stenbridge, Attorney Guerrier, appearing before you on behalf of the owners of 26 Birch Street. We've had substantial discussion with the neighborhood, and I would like to ask for a brief deferment, if possible.
With that, I'll read the case in first, which is case BOA 1749423 with the address of 26 Birch Street. Anything else you'd like to say about it, Attorney Guerrier?
Yes, I would just briefly just like to greet Madam Chair and thank you for allowing me the time the last time. We've met with the Civic Association, I've written to them, and I just believe that further discussion would benefit both my client and the board. With that, I'd leave it to the board to make the decision.
Thank you. Caroline, do we have?
We could, September 8th or September 22nd?
Would one of those give you enough time?
Yes, September 8th would be perfect, Madam Chair.
Okay, with that, may I have a motion?
Motion to defer this case to September 8th.
Is there a second?
I'm sorry.
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Barraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries. See you then.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Stenbridge.
You're welcome. And with that, we'll ask again if there are any requests for further withdrawals or deferrals from this time frame.
Thank you.
Hearing none, then we will move on to case BOA 1794725 with the address of 34 Spring Garden Street. If the applicant and/or their representative are present, will they please explain to the board?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Stenbridge, and good morning once again, Madam Chair, members of the board. For the record, Attorney Matt Eckel from Fletcher Tilton on behalf of the applicant. We are before you this morning seeking to change the occupancy of the existing structure at 34 Spring Garden Street to a 3-family dwelling and to renovate the building, including a rear addition. The project also includes raising the existing garage, which sits on the back right of the property, and to create 2 parking spaces at grade beneath the proposed addition. Just by way of brief background, 34 Spring Garden Street is a 3,230 square foot parcel, which is located near the end of the street where it intersects with Harborview Street in Dorchester. Spring Garden Street and the surrounding areas contain mostly residential housing, a mixture between everything from single families all the way up to multifamily residential, and is located less than a quarter of a mile from the JFK UMass MBTA station. The project as proposed would create 3 new residential units, which would be offered for home ownership. Just to briefly walk through the floor plans, the lower level would contain individual storage units, 1 for each of the 3 units. It would also include living space for Unit 1, which would have 2 bathrooms and 2 bedrooms and a bathroom, as well as a family room with rear egress and egress windows. The first floor would contain the upper level of Unit 1, which would have living room, dining room, kitchen, as well as an additional bedroom and bath. The first floor would also have the sprinkler room as well as the main entrance. The second floor would contain Unit 2, which would be a 1,360 square foot unit with 2 plus bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms. And finally, the third floor will contain Unit 3, which will be approximately 872 square feet with the living room, dining room, kitchen, 2 baths and 2 bedrooms, as well as a rear deck above the addition below. Just to give a little further background, this project went through extensive design review with the abutters. It was carefully designed to largely align with the recently approved project, which was completed directly to the right. And we worked diligently with these abutters on the final design, which led to the kind of extended one-story addition at the second level, as opposed to a full three-story addition to preserve a lot of the light and air as well as views. We did meet with both the Savin Hill Civic Association Planning Committee, as well as their full membership, both of which voted to support the project. So at this time, I'll happily pause and take any questions the board may have.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Can you just show the parking
I'm
on
sorry?
the site? The site plan with parking?
If you scroll up, Mr. Ambassador, the first of the 8 pages.
And that right there too, that elevation from the side, that shows you the 2 spaces underneath the building. I know that's not the aerial view, but it shows you.
Oh, they're under the building, okay.
Correct, yes.
Any other comments or questions from the board? May I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and board members, Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This petitioner has completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on December 10th, which was well attended. The feedback from this meeting was concerns about the impact on the parking situation in the neighborhood due to the increase in density. This proposal was reviewed by the Columbia Savin Hill Civic Association. The membership voted 18 in support and 11 in opposition. This group has emailed a letter of support to the board to be added to the file. With that background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Next, we have Liam Rimas from Councilor Fitzgerald.
Hello, Madam Chair, members of the board. Liam Remus from Councilor Fitzgerald's office. The council would like to go on record in support of this proposal. Thank you.
Thank you.
And there was one more person, David Free. I'm not sure if you're looking to speak on this case. If not, there's no additional comments, Madam Chair.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with a proviso that the project undergoes BPD design review, paying special attention to the maneuverability and access to the rear parking spaces.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins? Oh,
Sorry, I was muted. Yes.
chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have case BOA 1814618 with the address of 163 to 165 Hillside Street. If the applicants and/or their representative are present, will they please explain?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Stenbridge. Madam Chair, members of the board, Attorney Ryan Spitz with Adams and Moranci, business address of 168 H Street, first floor, South Boston. Joining me today is Chris McGue and Chris Prohl from the development team and the project architect, who is Eric Zackerson. The proposal here seeks to convert an existing 2-family dwelling into a 3-family dwelling by maintaining the footprint of the building and providing interior layout changes that converts the basement into a unit. The proposal is closely aligned with the city's by right conversion of internal spaces to accessory dwelling units, except that is not owner occupied. Parcel falls within a 2F 3000 subdistrict, which requires the relief for the proposed forbidden use. Unit 3, approximately 1,150 square feet, will be located in the basement, consisting of a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, kitchen, dining, and living room, not to mention that the basement will be a full walkout in the rear yard. Unit 1, approximately 1,175 square feet, located on the first floor, consisting of a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, kitchen, dining, and living room. Unit 2 will be a bi-level unit, approximately 1,900 square feet, located on the second and the third floor, consisting of 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, dining, kitchen, and living room. The proposal will also contain parking for 2 vehicles in the rear. We have additional violations for FAR. A 0.9 is required by the code, and this proposal calls for a 1.3, which is much consistent within this neighborhood for a lot size of this size. The proposal is compliant as to the feet. but needs relief as to stories due to the creation of livable space in the basement. Along with the drop in the elevation in the rear yard, the proposal is considered a 3-story building. Open space, their code requires 600 square feet per unit, and the proposal calls for 396 square feet per unit. This type of small lot makes it challenging for any 2 to 3 family structure to meet those requirements. And lastly, we have an off-street parking for design access of the 2 proposed parking spaces in the rear. At this point, Madam Chair, I'm going to turn it over to the board for any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and board members, Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This petitioner completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on February 19th, where one abutter expressed support for the application. Other abutters expressed concerns about abandoned vehicles on the property that they felt were not being addressed, an additional concern about an increase in density as they felt the neighborhood had already undergone an increase in density on nearby parcels. The applicant indicated they would work with the abutters to provide them updates on the abandoned vehicle issue. The applicant met with the Community Alliance of Mission Hill, which is supporting this application. With that background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Next, we have Tony Baez from Consular Turkan.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Here on behalf of Councillor Durkin, who represents Mission Hill, she'd just like to go on record in support. Obviously, you heard that CAMH is also in support. Thank you.
Next, we have Eric Sakirozon.
Jesus, I believe Eric is the architect.
Oh, yeah,
I'm just in case there are questions.
Thank you.
Right, so Madam Chair, there are no additional comments.
Okay, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion of approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, we have case BOA 1575425 with the address of 62 L Street. If the applicant and/or the representative present, would they please explain the case to the board?
Yes, good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. My name is David Luciano. I'm the applicant and one of the homeowners of 62 L Street, which is a 3-family home in South Boston. The plan we're seeking approval for today is to remove an exterior wooden staircase spanning from the top floor, which is our unit 3, down to the backyard, and replacing this with a 8-foot by 13-foot rear porch off the second level of the rear of the building. We're seeking a variance cited as insufficient rear yard setback. Down to the first page of the drawings, the next page there. On this page of the drawing, on the left-hand side of the screen is a straight-on view of the rear of the building. The proposed deck is off the second floor with access from the rear interior staircase of the building. The remaining plan drawings are different vantage points, including side views and aerial views of the new and existing structure. Yes, this is an aerial view here of the existing structure that will be removed. That's the extent of our plans. It's just the removal of the back staircase, and I'll stop there for any questions from the board.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? May I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and board members, Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This petitioner completed the community process. Our office hosted an initial abutters meeting on April 30th, 2024. A subsequent meeting was held on July 1st, 2024. A third abutters meeting was held on June 24th of 2025. Following this, the proposal was reworked to move from a deck to a balcony, and our office hosted an abutters meeting on the most updated application on June 15th, 2026, where there were questions and discussion about the proposal, but no opposition was stated. The City Point Neighborhood Association took no formal position on this iteration of the proposal. And with that background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Next, we have Ashley from Councilor Flynn's office.
Thank you. Councilor Flynn would like to go on record in support based on a good community process and good faith compromises with neighbors and the City Point Neighborhood Association to remove the roof deck. He respectfully requests that the proponent continue to work closely with neighbors during the construction phase. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Luan.
Yes, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Luann O'Connor, President of the City Point Neighborhood Association. The community process has been fantastic in giving credit to both the homeowner and the direct abutters. They were able to work together to remove the roof deck, turn it into a porch off of the second floor. So everything worked out well. We are taking no official position because the dates of the deferrals always did not coincide with our official meetings. But the community process was satisfied. Both homeowner and abutters are satisfied. So good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Any other questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Motion of approval.
May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Better Baraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins? Are you on mute, Mr. Collins?
I am sorry about that. Yes.
The chair votes yes, the motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Next, we have case BOA 174-1777 with the address of 183 St. Vital Street. If the applicant and or their representative are present, would they please explain the case to the board?
Thank you, Mr. Sternbridge. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Attorney John Pulgini on behalf of the applicant for 183 St. Vital Street. Joining today is David Freed, the project architect. 183 St. Vital Street, the lot size is 1,997 square feet. Zoning is the St. Vital Street protection area. 183 St. Vital is an existing 3-story, 4-unit residential building. There's actually kind of two proposals before you, but the proposal before you seeks to change the occupancy of the building from 4 to 5 units by the construction of a 4th floor addition to accommodate that new unit. There'll also be an addition on the existing 3rd floor, which will enclose a rear deck and convert it into living space. As part of the new work, a new egress stairway will be constructed on all floors in the rear of the building, which removes a fire escape that is coming down the front of the building currently. The new unit on the 4th floor would be 909 square feet. It's 2-bed, 1.5 bath. And there would be have access to a roof deck that'll be on the front of the building. At this point, I'm going to turn it over to David Freed to just walk through the plans, and I'm happy to answer any questions once he completes his presentation. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, John. We can start on this sheet. Thank you. Basically, there is presently a small deck on the back of this extension here, which we are proposing a 2-story addition. So that would increase this from a 2-bedroom to a 3-bedroom unit and increase the unit size from 805 square feet to 909 square feet. Next slide, please. And then finally, we would add a unit on the 4th floor that would be a 2-bedroom unit, about 900 square feet. And then that would have access to a new egress stair in the back. So the building would go from a single means of egress building to a 2 means of egress and provide a code compliant egress for this top floor unit. Next slide, please. As this is in a landmark district, we looked at sightlines from across the street and sculpted the front of the addition so that it would be out of view from the street. Next slide, please. The left drawing is the existing elevation. The right drawing is our proposed elevation. And you can see, aside from this turret, that the rest of this addition would be out of view. Next slide, please. The left drawing is our existing elevation, and the right is our proposed, which shows our addition in the back, the two-story addition, plus our new egress stair. Next slide, please. Existing side elevation, and then the next slide, please, would be proposed. So the addition would be clad in copper, standing seam copper, to be consistent with the other rooftop additions in the neighborhood. Next slide, please. And that's the existing other side elevation. Next slide, please. And then the proposed. We can't, because these are party walls, we can't have openings in these walls. And so that's why the elevations are blank. Next slide, please. And then we just have some 3D renderings here of the proposal. And you can see, aside from that turret, the rest of the addition would be out of view from the street. Next slide, please. But that's it. Okay. And that wraps up my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions from the board?
So has this gone to the St. Botolph Architectural Conservation District?
A very good question, Ms. Pinato. It actually, David Freed is working with them currently, and we have to get our zoning in order before they'll take a deep dive into it. So we have been working with them with different markups of setting the fourth story back so it's not visible from the street, but that's an ongoing process. So as I stated when I first started the presentation, it's really two presentations, two parts of this. One being, the simple rehab of the existing building and the enclosure of the rear porch for the third floor unit that abuts the rear alleyway. And then the other would be the fourth floor addition, which has to go through that. So even if it would be approved today, I would suggest a proviso that would be subject to approval by the Landmarks Commission, to answer your question.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Other questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and board members, Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This petitioner completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on July 28th of 2025, where there was a question about the adherence of the proposal with Landmarks District regulations, concern about where the trash is stored. The St. Botolph Neighborhood Association is aware of this application and took no formal position. With that background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Christian Simonelli.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Christian Simonelli, Executive Director of the Boston Groundwater Trust, and we have both G-card letters from the applicant.
Madam Chair, there are no additional comments.
Any other questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'll put forward a motion of approval with a proviso that the project undergoes review by the St. Botolph Area Architecture Conservation District Commission.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Pinato?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Next, we have case BOA 1817120 with the address of 78 Bunker Hill Street. If the applicant and/or the representative is present, they please explain to the board.
Hello, my name is Tim Shan. I'm an architect here in Charlestown at 9 Wall Street. My clients purchased 78 Bunker Hill Street. It's officially a single family, but It was at the time when they bought it, and I mean, I don't know how long, it's been an illegal three-family with an illegal basement apartment and 3 kitchens. So our plan is to convert it, we're coming to zoning here, to convert it to a 2-family because it's officially a single. If you look at the existing conditions, it's, there's 3 kitchens there and, I don't know, 4 or 5 bedrooms, kind of a mess in there. But our plan is convert it to a duplex. So, take that basement ground floor and the existing first floor, make 1 3-bedroom unit. And then the top 2 floors, the second and third floor would be another 3-bedroom unit. The ground, the lower duplex would be about 1,150 net square feet, and the upper unit would be 1,280 net square feet. We deferred actually because last time we had put new drawings in from working with the neighbors just to get rid of a roof deck and a small balcony at the second floor level at the at the L. And there was confusion at ISD. They had said we had another violation. Turns out we had fewer violations. But regardless, we're here asking for relief. We're gonna, if you look at the floor, you got the existing, the proposed elevations, A2. That's what's there now. There's a dormer front back, and that back L has sort of a steep slope roof. What we'd like to do is add on to that L, put another floor there for another bedroom, basically match what they did, match up to what they did next door at number 80. And then, we would be asking for a 10-foot rear deck with a spiral staircase for our egress from the second unit. And that's basically it. I'd leave it to your questions at this point.
All right, thank you. Any questions from the board? Hearing none, may I have public testimony?
Madam Chair and board members, Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This petitioner completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on March 10th, at which 3 direct abutters were opposed to the application with concerns about poor conditions of the property and encroachment across the property line by a deck. The applicants later worked with the direct abutters to make revisions, and our office received a letter from the most direct abutter that their opposition to the proposal had been withdrawn. With that background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, there are no additional comments.
Okay, with that, may I have a motion?
Motion to approve with the proviso that plans are reviewed by the planning department, special attention to size, scales, and contextual nature of the design, and to the proposed dormer.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Barbraza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you, everybody.
Next, we have case BOA 1837592 with the address of 3 Moore Street. If the applicant and/or their representative present, will they please explain?
Yes, Mr. Stenbridge, thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board. Richard Lins, on behalf of the petitioner, business address of 245 Sumner Street in Boston. I believe James Christopher is here with us for 686 Architects as well. If we could jump down to maybe slide 3. Just to get
Madam Chair, I'm going to have to recuse.
Okay, thank you. We're a 6-member board now.
Thank you. So just a quick overview. This property is located in the Harborview, Orion Heights section of East Boston. It's an existing single-family dwelling on a 5,000 square foot lot located adjacent to McCollum Highway. Directly across the street from the Chevrolet School Apartments, a converted old school building, now multifamily housing. Go to the next slide, please. Just a bird's eye view to give an idea of what the surrounding context looks like. We have Byron Street screen right, McCollum Highway is towards the screen top. Next slide, please. You see the existing building here. Typical lot size for this neighborhood is anywhere from 2,500 to 5,000 square feet. It is located in the EBR3 zoning subdistrict, which is the relatively newer subdistrict for East Boston for this area. Next slide, please. Just the street view, and again, you can see the multifamily across the street, Charter School Apartments. Next slide. And again, another view of the street. Next slide, please. So indicating that, again, this is an EBR3 district, and I'll run through what the zoning issues are that are involved with respect to this particular site, but I'd like to jump to slide 10, please, if we can go to that. And I do include this typically, Madam Chair, when we have a 5,000 square foot lot in an EBR3 district. With the amendments to Article 53, there is no longer minimum lot size or minimum lot width requirement. This property can be divided into two independent lots, each able to accommodate a 3-family dwelling with no parking. So the total number of units at the end of the day can be a total of 6. We just require a subdivision. The distinction here is that we're proposing a single 6-unit building, which I would point out to the board is an allowed use in the EBR3 district. The only limitation is the lot width would have to be in excess of 55 feet. Again, having participated in the Plan East Boston discussions, we still don't understand the rationale behind the 55-foot wide lot when you could easily subdivide this into 2 separate lots and still yield 6 units and require no parking. We think the single 6-unit building is a much more efficient design for the site. It certainly allows for a better amount of square footage. It allows us to incorporate a mix of 2- and 3-bedroom units. And so we do require relief for 2 items, and I'll review that in a moment. If we could jump down to the proposed plan at slide 13, please. So you can see here, we do meet all of the other setback requirements. In the zoning subdistrict, the minimum of 3 feet is required, 1/3 of the lot depth, as well as some of the other regulations that include maximum lot coverage, permeable area, as well as building depth maximum. We meet all of the dimensional requirements regardless, and as I showed you in the previous slide, we could do the same by simply slicing the lot in half and creating 2 separate 3-families on each lot independently. Next slide, please. Just showing our architectural site plan, which does incorporate some of the screening and buffering that we would put in the front of the building, as well as illustration of the amount of permeable open space that we would have on the site as well. Next slide, please. Quick layout for our floor plans. You can see that on the ground level, we just have a mirrored unit. I believe these are 2-bed, 2-bath. We go to the next slide, please. A mix of the 2- and 3-bedroom units here as we move up the building to the 2nd and the 3rd level. So this would also be within the height limit that's permitted under Article 53. We don't exceed the 35-foot total, and this is considered zoning-wise a 3-story building. Next slide, please. Showing the private roof decks for the upper 2 levels, or the upper 2 units located at the 3rd level, and again, also permitted under Article 53, the amended zoning code. Next slide, please. Building section plan, we don't incorporate any habitable space in the lowest level. Because this site does slope significantly, we do actually step up our foundation as you get towards the back of the property. Next slide, please. Elevations, and again, illustrating the slope of the site, and you can see from the front elevation as well. The main entrance and that buffering and landscaping we proposed. And if we jump to slide 21, we have some renderings just to illustrate how it would look in context. And again, this would otherwise be permitted as a right design if there were 60 more inches of frontage. I would point out to the board, and I have raised this previously, and certainly recognize that the code is the code. However, it's very uncommon, especially in neighborhoods like this, to have a lot 55 feet or more than 50 feet, I should say. Typical lot layout is 25 or 50. 55 is almost non-existent in many of the neighborhoods where this EBR3 distinction applies. I would submit to the board that the difference of whether a lot is 50 feet wide or 55 feet wide really has no practical impact on abutters. Most abutters or most people in the neighborhood wouldn't know the difference between 50 or 55 feet unless you actually measured it. And in this particular case, we believe that the impact was negligible. And again, because the code would allow up to 6 units total on the site, especially with no parking, we believe that this design, this proposal is a far better layout of the building, much more efficient in the build, and certainly for the cost, and would make it relatively more inexpensive for the actual overall sale of the units. So I'll pause there and answer any questions of the board, but we believe that this is a product that certainly fits with the spirit and intent of the code for this neighborhood.
Thank you. Are there questions from the board?
Can you talk about the, the tree canopy on the site, what kind of goes away with this new development?
Yeah, there's a relatively large tree towards the rear of the immediate building. We will do what we can to immediate existing building. We will do what we can to preserve any tree canopy, especially on the rear portion of the site. Any tree that will be removed, Ms. Bonato, we can certainly incorporate into the site. We have plenty of space available towards the rear of the site, but also we would be amenable to street trees and making a contribution to Tree East, which has done an incredible job of adding tree canopy to the East Boston community, and a lot of our projects find that making that contribution is a worthwhile effort for tree canopy expansion.
Other questions?
No, I think I just wanted to compliment the deck. I actually think you guys did a really good job comparing the new zoning and what would be allowed under that zoning and the slight variances that you're requesting. I just think you made a very good case why we should provide you relief. My only comment would be that you have 2 interesting buildings abutting the building, and I would just recommend that BPD works with you a little bit on the kind of the exterior massing so that it's complementary to your abutting topologies. That's all, but that was the only comment that I had.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
Yes, could you please show page number 8? Is that 8? Oh,
you mean 10 or do you mean 8?
I mean the site plan that is all, keep going down please, to the site plan that is all green. That one. Yeah, so those 2 boxes to the left and right, it says airway or areaway. What is that?
It looks like a window well, right?
Yeah, I believe so, because there is a slope towards the rear, Mr. Valencia, and I believe James Christopher is on. He can explain that probably in more detail, but I believe that lower level, based upon the way the design of the foundation works, that it creates the window well.
Yeah, that's correct, Richie. If you scroll, I believe we have a building section that shows the elevation grade change. The grade rises fairly dramatically, so as we get to the rear of the building, the grade comes up by those first floor windows. So we would install those areaways to allow access. There you go. So you can see that dotted line, which continues the grade at the first floor. So those areaways are just to create egress and light from those rear bedrooms.
Okay.
But they are at grade.
So about the setback from the properties to the left and right, are those structures going to prevent people from walking and going to the backyard? Because you only have 3 feet setback from both properties. So is that structure that I just mentioned going to prevent people from going to the backyard walking, or how that works? I don't understand this section.
There is not a pedestrian footpath around the building. We've done it in the past where we've incorporated grates into those areaways so that a pedestrian access could be incorporated around the building, or we could try to accommodate it through the building.
So right there is no setback, technically, I mean.
Inches.
1 foot or something?
Yes.
Yeah, and I believe this is reviewed for building code compliance and no citations for any of the building code issues.
Okay, I'm not sure if my colleagues can provide more ideas about if this is allowed, having just 1 foot setback from the left and right.
The area would not be considered a structure, so it would not trigger any setback violation. It would just simply be considered an open area, just a grade separation, grade difference.
So the only way to go to the backyard is through the building. You cannot go around.
I believe that's correct, unless grates are incorporated into the areaway.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, may I have public comment?
Madam Chair and board members, Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This petitioner completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on April 1st, which I'm told was not attended by any abutters. This proposal was reviewed by the Harbor View Neighborhood Association. That group has voted 3-11 to oppose this application. With that background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Madam Chair, we don't have additional answers at the moment.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board?
The nature of the opposition, is there any more detail on that?
Spiggy, are you able to address that?
Yes, Ms. Pinaro, you're talking about, I'm told the abutters meeting did not have any public comments made at it.
Oh, okay, I thought there was a second.
Oh yeah, no, my apologies. The association, the Civic Association has voted 3 in favor and 11 opposed. No, unfortunately, I don't have additional context as to what their concerns were.
Okay, thank you.
Through the chair, I can add some color, Ms. Donato. During the civic process, generally this has become an issue pretty much throughout East Boston. Anytime even projects don't require relief. Off-street parking seems to always be a concern. Even though under amended zoning, off-street parking for 3 units, if we propose the 3 separate units, we would not require any off-street parking and could accommodate 6 units under an as-of-right scenario. Because the building is being proposed as a single 6-unit building, the parking requirement does get triggered over 3 units, and that seemed to be one of the key issues. This particular neighborhood doesn't have a substantial, I guess, dense parking demand. There is adequate on-street parking. We would be closing up an existing curb cut on the site as well.
Okay, thank you.
Off of that, I do have a question. Do you know where the nearest bus or train station is?
So the closest, Ms. Turner, the closest bus line is less than 2 blocks away at Bennington Street. The intersection of Bennington and Moore Street, that is less than 2 blocks away. Within a 4 to 5 block walk is Wood Island T Station, so relatively close to public transit and two particular nodes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the board? May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I'd like to put forward a motion of approval with a proviso, with 2 provisos. One being that the project undergoes BPD design review, paying special attention to the exterior in regards to design. And then the second proviso is to have BPD provide input to the architect and the interior layout so that the window well is potentially positioned at the rear, because I do think, given Giovanni's observations, I do think you can actually locate a little bit, move things in regards to the bathrooms and the kitchen in such a way where the 2 bedrooms can take advantage of potentially the rear window well. So I just would like for BPD to take a look at that with the architect, so it benefits both the potential unit owners and the abutting properties.
Thank you. Okay, is there a
We
second?
can certainly accommodate that.
Yeah, I think so too.
Is there a second? Thank you. Mr. Stenbridge?
Yes.
Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Benabraza?
Yes.
Ms. Donato?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next, we have 2 companion cases. The first is case BOA 1482368 with the address of 87 Morris Street. Along with that, we have case BOA 1482374, also with the address of 87 Morris Street. If the applicant and/or their representative are present, will they please explain to the board?
Yes, thank you again, Mr. Stenbridge and Madam Chair, members of the board. Richard Lynn's business address of 245 Summer Street on behalf of the petitioner, Carolina Linares. This involves the renovation of an existing two-family dwelling on Morris Street. If we can jump down perhaps to slide 2 or 3. Slide 3, all right, perfect. So we see an existing condition of two-story building. We are proposing to change the occupancy from 2 to 3 units, and the change would involve extending living space into the lowest level basement. This is not located in a flood zone, and CFROD is not applicable in this particular case based upon its location and the timing of when the application for permit was filed. This is subject to GCOD. We do have the no harm letter and the BWSC letter, and I'm sure Mr. Simonelli will confirm that when given the opportunity. If we could jump down to perhaps slide 9 to look at the floor plan and section plan. Maybe zoom in just a little bit here. So a couple of things I will point out. This sort of appropriate based upon our earlier discussion regarding utility room. You can see that we do incorporate a separately accessible utility room that we access from the exterior of the building, so the entire building will have access to it. I do note that we have some building code matters in the companion case. We are not seeking building code relief. A number of reasons why we have taken some time to get this before the board was to address a number of building code items. So we are no longer interested in seeking any building code relief for the project. We believe this can be accomplished entirely without that relief that was originally being cited by the examiner. Our ceiling height is 7.5 feet, which is compliant under the code for purposes of establishing appropriate ceiling height for 3-unit buildings. We certainly will comply with any other requirements, including to the extent a sprinkler needs to be added to this level for purposes of compliance with the life safety requirements. Because this was filed prior to the implementation, I thought we had all of these cases behind us, but this seems to be the last legacy item that was filed under prior zoning. Most of the violations, if not all of the violations that have been cited by ISD are no longer applicable, and I can run through those briefly for the board. So first is the off-street parking. The change from a 2 to a 3 would result in this being a 3-unit building that is exempt from the parking requirements under Article 53 amended zoning. iPod is no longer applicable as the amended zoning has been adopted. There is no longer a minimum lot area, and therefore any citation for lot area minimum has been eliminated. The same applies for the floor area ratio under amended Article 53. There is no longer a maximum FAR limit, and then the open space requirement that was required under the prior version of Article 53 is no longer applicable under amended Article 53. Those are all the items that we were cited for, but because this is a pre-existing non-conforming structure, any of the new requirements on Article 53, including permeable area, lot coverage, and building floor plate, would not be triggered even under current zoning because this is a pre-existing structure. In essence, Madam Chair, members of the board, this is a GCOD only case, but we have not resubmitted this simply because of having this already filed with ISD and reviewed. We felt it was appropriate just to bring the matter before the board with respect to the conditional use permit on GCOD, but to point out to the board that these remaining items that have been cited are no longer violations of the current amended zoning, so a relatively straightforward proposal. Happy to answer any questions of the board.
Thank you. Is Mr. Hampton here to weigh in?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Jeff Hampton, City of Boston Planning Department. Would have been better to weigh in back in 2025 when this first came before the board and all this stuff was applicable. I don't know what to really say to any of this. I mean, council's right, most of this doesn't even apply anymore. But this board had deferred them 8 times on this, so I don't know what you really want me to say in terms of our recommendation. Our recommendation was based on, you know, the submittal that, yes, it did predate the new zoning, but that's what our recommendation was based on. And that recommendation hasn't changed in the past 9 months, so.
Thank you.
What about this notion that the living space is below the sea level rise design flood elevation? It seems to be unclear about that. And
Yeah. So I looked at our survey indicates we are not in a designated flood zone. And if to the extent, and certainly the difference between CFROD and flood zone, there is a distinction. Not all properties that are outside the flood zone are exempt from CFROD. CFROD can find its way into areas that are not necessarily in flood A or flood AE. Flood X definitely has CFROD involved. However, the important distinction is CFROD, applicability of Article 25A was only applicable to projects subject to Article 80 prior to amended zoning in East Boston. The amended zoning in East Boston triggered an applicability for all projects within CFROD. So this would still remain exempt because it was filed prior to the implementation of new zoning for East Boston, and therefore is not required to comply with CFROD unless it was an Article 80 size project.
Other questions from the board or comments? Hearing none, I'll take public testimony.
Madam Chair and board members, Siggy Johnson with the Office of Neighborhood Services. This petitioner completed the community process. Our office hosted an abutters meeting on August 22nd of 2023, at which I am told no public comments were made. This proposal met with the Maverick Central Neighborhood Association, and that group is supporting this application. With that background, ONS defers judgment to the board. Thank you.
Next, we have Kristen Simonelli.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Christian Simonelli, Executive Director of the Boston Groundwater Trust, and we have both G-card letters from the applicant.
Madam Chair, there are no additional comments.
Any other questions from the board? May I have a motion?
Madam Chair, I feel like we should be supporting units, additional units and basement areas for increasing the housing supply. For these reasons, I'm going to put forward a motion of approval.
Is there a second?
A second.
Mr. Stumbridge?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Valencia?
Yes.
Ms. Turner?
Yes.
Ms. Barbarazza?
Yes.
Ms. Panado?
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the motion carries.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Okay, unless I'm missing anything, thank you all.
Have a good day.
Have a good day.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.